All right, I decided to do this a little bit early, mostly because I suddenly realized that I have a trip to pack for and get ready for. So I wanted to do my chill session like late night. Couldn't really do it late night because I realized I wanted to do a few things like girly stuff, deep condition my hair, pack, get my nails done. Not fake nails. I don't wear fake nails, but I'll get them painted. So I decided to start my chill session early, even though I feel like it might be a little too early for some people, depending on where you live, but whatever. We can do it anyway. There are some topics I'm going to try really, really hard not to talk about, like the whole Amber Geiger situation. I'm going to try not to talk about that because I think my man and I are going to do a stream about it. I'm just going to try to not talk about it because I know because I'm Christian, I'm going to try not to talk about it. Hi, Cassandra. Yeah, well, I'm taking another sort of trip with my man. It's not really a trip. We're only going to Vegas, but his son turns 21 and he wants to go to Vegas for his birthday. And my man is like, oh no, a young Black man turning 21 in Vegas. So he wants us to be in Vegas to just in case, you know? So I don't know how you feel about that. I feel like we're kind of crashing his party. Obviously, we're not going to hang out with them because they're kids, but he just wants to be around in case something goes down. He will be there immediately to be able to handle it, which I guess is pragmatic in this day and age with Black men. And then it's a group of Black kids, you know, in Vegas, 21st birthday, there could be drinking involved. So we're going to be in Vegas until Thursday. We'll be in Vegas for a few days. Peace to you too, Sakhire one. So yeah, so I thought I would do my chill session now. In fact, let me just put the link in the chat because you guys could just come up. You guys know with the chill sessions, I don't, we're not talking about anything. We're just hanging out together. It's nothing, you know, amazing. I don't have a topic. I do try to avoid super deep conversations on our chill sessions because the goal is to chill. And I feel like a lot of my content is already pretty intense. So it would be weird to have a chill session where we're kind of like not chilling. Hello, R. Mitchell. So yeah, it would be weird to have a chill session when we're not chilling. So you are welcome to come up, but we have to keep the conversation light. I'm gonna try. I really try hard not to go into any like heavy topics when we're just kind of hanging out together. Hey, Darafil, how are you? Yeah, I was just saying that I'm starting this early. I wanted to do it kind of later tonight, but I'm starting early because I have to pack and get ready for a trip. So I figured I would just kind of start early. And my day is going really relaxing. I'm kind of ready for winter. I can't lie. Oh, on your 21st, my mom didn't let me leave the house. She's smart. I have friends coming from town, so pissed. No, I think that was probably a good idea, Cass. She was probably smart for that. Because it depends. Like sometimes people want to turn up a little too much on their 21st birthday. I didn't do that. I don't know what I did for my 21st birthday. It wasn't a big deal to me, you know? My birthdays are a bigger deal to my mom. I probably hung out with my mom on my 21st birthday because before my mom died, I spent pretty much almost all my birthdays with my mom because she gave me life. You know, I came from her womb. So what more appropriate than to spend my birthday with my mom? And that's pretty much what I would do every single year is I would be somehow, some way I'd be with my mother somewhere. Hi, Atlanta lady. Oh my gosh, no Wall Street tech. I'm not going to talk about Amber Geiger, not during a chill session, but I will probably be talking about her later today or in the next couple days because my man is literally pissed about this. And A lot of people are talking about the Christianity side of things. A lot of people are talking about the non-ADOS side of things. I'm going to not say anything during this chill session, y'all. I just refuse. I'm not going to do it. Hey, I don't know, fool. How are you? I want to make sure I can see everything. I'm going to like totally avoid it. But yeah, you guys can come up. Like, you know, there's no format to a chill session. What was I saying though? Yeah, so that's essentially why we're going to be in Vegas. We're just there to do damage control. Hopefully it will not be needed, but if damage control is needed, we will be there to provide damage control. Really, that's what he's doing. I'm just going there because he's going and he wants me with him. so that's pretty much it. But yeah, I wanted to start a little bit early because I realized all of a sudden that I want to spend my evening preparing because I always forget something and I don't want to forget anything this time. So yeah. You're mad about that too? I'm good. I'm good. I have a lot to say about that. You guys will probably be interested, especially from the Christian take. I'm not going to say anything about it, y'all. I'm not going to say anything about it. You guys don't know. It's taken all of my energy. It has taken all of my focus and my willpower to not come on YouTube and just go on an epic rant. And I'm probably going to say a lot of things that people don't agree with and some things that people do agree with, but I'm not going to say it right now. Let's just avoid it because I've been doing so well. Oh, I've been doing so well, y'all. You guys just don't know how close I came so many times to being up here talking about it. So do not, no, I don't know, fool. Do not tempt me. Do not tempt me. I am literally determined to be careful. Drink responsibly. My man doesn't really, well, he does drink, but he doesn't really drink. Do you know what I mean? He might legit like have a mojito. Yeah. Like literally he might have a mojito and then he will be totally buzzed because he doesn't drink. So we won't be out there drinking or anything like that. We're really just going, like literally, we're just going for the sake of his child, you know, for the sake of this young man, just to make sure that like nothing happens. He doesn't get into anything. Well, not that he doesn't get into, I don't want to say it like that. Not that he doesn't get into anything, but you know, sometimes life gets into you when you're Black. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes life is your enemy when you're a young Black man on your 21st birthday with a group of kids in Vegas. So, and I had like Vegas is a funny kind of place. They really do arrest people in Vegas. It's really not a free for all. They're looking to take some people to jail and they have a lot of undercovers in Vegas too. So I don't know, fool. Did she get some time though? She might do 5 years. Girl, don't tempt me to talk about this, okay? She might do 5 years. I know some Black people who are in jail a lot longer for a whole lot less. But we're not going to talk about that right now, okay? We're not. Do I look just like your sister? Awesome. I don't even look like my own sister. You guys actually might meet my sister because I think my sister is planning to come out at the end of this month. So you guys might meet my baby sister. And you're going to look at her and you're going to be like, y'all are related? Yeah, we're related. She just doesn't look like, so me, my second younger sister and my brother, all of them are younger than me. The three of us all look alike. Okay? The three of us all look alike. Little noses, dark eyes, dark hair, dark skin. We all look exactly alike. My baby sister looks like she's adopted. She looks like my grandmother. High yellow, light eyes, light hair. She won't look like we're sisters, but we are sisters, like blood related. She just doesn't look like the rest of us. I don't know, fool. I'm going to tell you. You're the one. I couldn't have a vice and hang out with you because I see you would have me all up in my vice. You keep on trying to tempt me with your commentary, but I'm going to read your comments and I'm going to keep on moving, girl. I'm not even going to let you suck me in to this world. I am not even going to let you suck me into this world of talking about this. Is Vegas better than Miami? Never been to Vegas. Okay, I don't like Vegas, me personally. There are some places I don't like. I don't like LA. I don't like Vegas. It's weird because every time I go to LA, I get into some cool stuff. Like I've been in a couple movies in LA. I've been invited to some pretty dope celebrity parties in LA. I've been invited to yacht parties. Like LA is a place where you could really go and get into something, but I really hate LA. And I feel the same way about Vegas. I actually lived in Vegas for a little under a year, and I really don't like Vegas. I feel like Vegas is a place that you can go and you can enjoy in small increments. Vegas is like an amusement park. You know how amusement parks are fun, but only for so long, then you're sick of it and you just want to go home? It's kind of like that. Miami, I've never been to Miami. I've never had a desire to go to Florida. I feel like Florida is a place that you go to die. Not just because old people are there, because they're riddled with natural disasters. I don't want to be anywhere that so frequently has natural disasters. Like, that makes me uncomfortable. Like, I would never want to go there. Now, my god sister swears by Miami. She loves Florida. I wouldn't want to go there. And from what I hear about it, it's like a tropical version of LA mingled with Vegas, which are two places I don't like. So I can't say if, oh, Sakai, there's no topic necessarily. There's no topic necessarily. The topic is every topic. You think of a topic. What do you want to talk about? Just don't make it serious because that'll defeat the purpose. It's really just an opportunity for us to just sit and talk to each other. It's not that bad. It's usually clear skies here. Oh, you live out there? Okay, well, I'm sorry. But I've never had the desire to go. Maybe I'll go sometime before I die. Hi, friend Tonio. I'm putting the link in the chat so y'all could come up and talk to me. Don't put all the pressure on me. I guess you aren't coming to North Carolina. I have to come to the Carolinas just to go to the islands, just to be in low country. So if I come to the Carolinas, that'll be different because my people are from the Carolinas. So that wouldn't quite be the same thing, right? I would go down there so that I could like take my children to see low country if I went there. Atlanta Lady said, South Beach is fun. Stay on South Beach. Don't go to the city of Miami. Okay, that's a thought. Nikki, are you with me with LA and Vegas? Yeah, I'm not excited. I know people that like go there for like fun and I don't, first of all, I don't gamble. Second of all, I just don't like, Vegas is just a trash place to me, but yes, Vegas is hot. And that is what I was going to say. I don't want to be in the heat. I don't want to be in the heat at all in Vegas. I don't even want to do it. I'm like kind of over summer at this point. I'm over summer. I've been in an environment since I moved out of the mountains. Where I live now is very muggy and humid. There are mosquitoes. And I'm kind of just over it. Although I think Vegas, if I can remember, I think Vegas has like a drier heat. It can't be as humid as where I am now because I can't with this stuff that's going on around here. It's way. What's weird to do in 2019 that was completely normal to do in 1999? What's weird to do in 2019 that was completely normal to do in 1999? Oh, I don't know. What? I don't know. You went to Jacksonville? Don't drink the water? I'm not trying to drink the water anywhere anyway, but is bottled water any better? Bottled water, like, even if the container is BPA free, something about, I think bottled water in glass would probably, like spring water in glass, or I wish I had my own spring. I feel like there's just no avoiding the poison these days, although I will try. I remember thinking it was ridiculous to use your cell phone as your main phone line and disconnect your landline. Really? Because I can't lie, y'all. The minute, so first of all, I'm gonna tell you guys things people don't know about me. Do you know that I did not have a cell phone until, let's see, how old is Bella? Bella is 7. She's about to turn 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, so until about 3, 2. Okay, so until about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I think about 5 years ago, I didn't have a cell phone. Literally, 5 or 6 years ago, I didn't have a cell phone. I had never texted or anything. So yeah. Isn't that fascinating? Never had one. Oh, Nikki, thank you so much. I'm glad you like my vlogs. I'm going to have some more going up. I had to take a break, but I'm not the best editor, and so editing takes me a long time, but I have a lot more vlogs coming. I have a lot of footage. I just have to edit it. So I'll actually be vlogging while we're in Vegas, but when you'll see that vlog, like I still haven't put up my vacation to the islands, so when you'll see the vlog is really the question. I don't know, Full said, I'm from Miami, but I don't live there anymore. Left 11 years ago and I would never go back. LOL, it's horrible. Okay. Okay, because that's how I felt. I felt like it was horrible. I love the heat, Darafil, but I don't love the humidity. Okay. I can deal with dry heat, but if there's humidity and if there are going to be mosquitoes, that's a problem for me. I don't want to deal with humidity and I don't want to deal with mosquitoes. So that's why California is a better place for me. People say we have mosquitoes in California, but honestly, I've never been bitten by a mosquito in California, and I'm from there. But I think that's why I just do best in California, because I can't do humidity. Like when I was in Texas, oh my gosh, that was so traumatic. I've never hated heat so much. I mean, my hair though was super moisturized, but I've never hated the heat so much as I did when I was in Texas. That was devastating. True Seeker said, I'll go to Vegas to bet on football games Sundays. Okay. But I think you can do that other places too. Is it illegal to bet on football games in other places? Stephanie Merrick said, would I agree that the feminist group are undercover lesbians? Some of these right-wing feminists, some of these far-left feminists, I mean, they say that having sex is violence. They say that men have tricked us into thinking that we want to have sex with them, that we're all brainwashed, and that essentially it's violent. Like they take their hard thing and they just bang it into you violently. Like I have a video on this channel where I read like a feminist describe sex, and I was like, my gosh, like who hurt you? You know what I mean? Like who hurt you? And when I want to tease my man, because I read him that little thing and he was so annoyed that I read it to him. So every time I want to tease him, I'll be like, it's all sex is violence. What are you saying? Yeah. And then I'll run from him. That's just, we play. Okay. So then I'll run away and he'll chase me. It's fun stuff. So long story short, do I think feminists are undercover lesbians? Yes. Whether they recognize it or not. They're heading down the lesbian street, okay? If they're not there yet, they're certainly dipping their toes into the lesbian pool. They're going to fall in if they're not careful. Dareful said, love bottled water, but got to think after what I said. Yeah, think about that. That's like real. Daryl Thompson said, sound like your mom right now. Well, how old are you, Daryl Thompson? I could be your mom, like real talk. I might sound like your mom because her and I could be about the same age. That is a possibility. Hi, Dallas Cowboys. One of Dem Ones Media. Ooh, I like that name. Peace to you too. Bottled H2 invokes a clean standard of water. Maybe if it's bottled in a glass. Nikki, oh, the editing's not that bad? Okay, yeah, because I'm struggling with that editing, Nikki. Like, when I say I'm struggling editing those vlogs, I mean, it's a struggle. I really don't know what I'm doing. And I have Premiere Pro. If only I had any clue how to use it. There's like stuff I see on other people's videos, and I'd be like, I would love to do that. But I can't do it because I have no idea what I'm doing. Cassandra said cell phones are overrated. Cassandra, you take that back. Cell phones are awesome. I actually love cell phones. Now, basically it's attached to my arm. I love my cell phone, but I could live without it. I definitely have had chance like where I forgot it or blah, 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 but maybe not because I use Lyft a lot. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yaakov Yad Hey Israel. Oh, I like that name, Yaakov. What does it mean? Sakura said, down south is not for you. Nope, down south isn't for me for a lot of reasons. But that humidity, the mosquitoes, and y'all, I'm allergic to mosquitoes too. When a mosquito bites me, that thing gets real crazy looking. I mean, it gets big like a golf ball. It's not pretty. All right. And being highly melanated as I am, I really cannot afford to be getting marred up by mosquito bites. One of them ones media said, am I from the Valley? I'm from San Francisco. I'm not from the Valley. Hey, twin. Oh, why don't you keep me company, twin? I'm trying to get you guys to not put the pressure all on me. Thank you, Wall Street Tech. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, twin, you're so gross. I'm going to just put that on the screen. Y'all, look what twin said. But twin, we really do make a game out of it. Well, I make a game out of it. And I'll start running away from him. I'm like, no, all sex is violence. Yeah, none of us would be here. That's true, Darafil. Okay. Sakura said, okay, here's another one. What advice would you give the 21-year-old you? The advice I would give I don't know that I would give the 21-year-old me advice, but I think what I would like to do if I had a twin, what I would do is I wish the 21-year-old me had the level of wisdom the old me has. I don't know that I would give myself advice, but I would want that wisdom. I would want the knowledge I have now at 21. Y'all, if I had the knowledge I had now at 21, you couldn't talk to me.
Real talk.
You cannot agree. Me.
First things first, I wouldn't have married my ex-wife.
No. Y'all, I might be the president. Y'all might be looking at your first Black president. No, like you would not even be able to deal with me. Like, what I mean, like, not because I'd be stuck up, but because I would be so on point, it would be insane. Like, all this, where I'm at now, and I have so much further to go, is so useless almost with me being so old, you know? all this at 21 would have been everything. But isn't that the way? Like everybody who's 21 is dumb. I mean, no,
You are not old.
What'd you say?
You are not old. You as old as you feel.
Oh, well, then I feel real old because you know my back.
I know my back jacked up too, but I still be getting it in. Like I said, I'm trying to get life together. I'm waiting to get some time right now. I got so much shit going on. I'm trying to put a video together so I can start my workout channel. Like I said, but for y'all that want to start now, the best thing I can do is say, start off if you have a significant other, go for walks. Anything can be exercise. Go for walks, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups every night. Start there. Start eating right. If you're over 30 and you're still eating beef, something's wrong with you. Or if you are going to eat beef, that shit better be real lean and let pork go. And stop buying them damn vegetables out of the damn can, you big nasties. And no Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
Free, if you like canned vegetables, I feel like people do canned vegetables for convenience. If you like canned vegetables, I would say do frozen. You could even buy fresh vegetables. A lot of them don't have to be blanched and freeze them, or just do frozen vegetables over canned. That's what I would definitely suggest. I would do.
Right.
Doris, love the chill sessions. That's great to just decompress from the work week. Oh, thank you. I love them too. I like just hanging with you guys sometimes. I feel like we don't get to talk. Sometimes I'll be going on a rant and then I won't even realize what you guys are saying in the chat. In fact, one of my mods was saying that her man was almost in a diabetic coma, and I was on a rant and I didn't read it until because after every live I go through and I read the chat because I like to see what you guys have written. And so when and if she comes in here, I am going to have to apologize to her because I totally missed that, and that's awful. Like, you know what I mean? That's an awful thing to be dealing with. Had it been a chill session, I wouldn't have missed her comment because I wouldn't have been on a rant. I would have been reading all the comments.
I have a very basic comment for you because I talked to someone yesterday, and the bad part is this person's older than me, and they sounded completely dumb. So this is my question for the people, for you, Irene, and the people in the chat. Don't answer, Irene. I'm pretty sure you know the answer to this question. For the people in the chat, does the United States, listen carefully to what I'm about to say, does the United States have an established official religion? 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Okay, 1 for yes, 2 for no. Nikki, I'm glad you enjoyed the cake vlog. Yeah, that lemon cake was the only cake that was worth eating, to be honest with you. We went there again, but I forgot to vlog. I took my youngest daughter there with us and my baby boy. Gas is from the South. What did they put? I can't see because if I look, I'll have to skip past everybody. Oh man.
So right now we got 1, 2. We have a 1, 2 in the chat, and somebody put a 1 in the chat. We got a few more 2s in there. So I'm gonna give you the backstory. I'm talking to this older dude, heavily Christian, right? So y'all already know what's going on with the current president and how he's under investigation. They have the impeachment inquiry and all that going on. So we were talking about that. I try not to talk about it because you already know my profession. We try not to talk about it at all. We really shouldn't. But we started talking about the Constitution, and then the subject of religion came up. And he was like, well, it all started going downhill when we started letting people practice whatever religion they wanted. And I said, excuse me, sir, you do realize we've always had the ability to practice any religion we wanted because of the Constitution and, freedom of religion. That's not true. America has an official religion, and it's Christianity. I said, no, sir, we don't. I said, actually, according to the Constitution, it explicitly says we shall not establish a religion. That's bullshit. We have a religion. You just hate Christians. I said, sir, I don't hate anybody. I just, when I raise my right hand, I know what I raise my right hand to, and I've actually read the document. So, I'm just saying, we don't have that in this country. If you want that, you need to go to places like Saudi Arabia, Iran, where you can, you're going to either subscribe to their religion or you might die. I'm just saying. That's not America. The overwhelming majority of people in America are Christian. I said, you're right. With many denominations, that doesn't make it the established religion. This dude really wanted to fight me for that. Like, he really wanted to fight me because he didn't know how to read. Even when I showed him, I Googled it just so he could see it. He still said, I'm lying. I'm making that up. I said, sir, the only way you're going to believe me now is if you actually go to Washington, D.C. and actually just go up to the glass and read it off the paper yourself.
I think the reason people think that is because of the Pledge of Allegiance, even though that has nothing to do with anything. But because we say one nation under God, and because our money says in God we trust, I think people think Christianity is America's religion.
But again, simple research. I asked them, do you even understand why the country was founded? Because I hear this a lot. This country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. No, it wasn't. This country was actually founded to be a secular nation. So you could practice whatever religion you wanted. The people who came here and basically stole this country were running away from religious persecution. I learned that in like third grade history.
Well, who remembers third grade history?
Obviously,
but I'm surprised that you got argued down about that. I'm not, and I think a lot of people do think America is a Christian nation. I do think a lot of people, yeah, Sakai, I think you're right. People think a lot of things without finding out why, for sure. I definitely agree with that. People do think a lot of things, and they don't know why they think them. I think most of the things that we believe and that we do, we really do them because it's always been done that way. That's what I find. So things people find weird about me that I'm not with, I find that they do them simply because everybody else did that. So for example, people circumcise their children because they're circumcised, right? There's like not a rhyme or reason behind it, like more than that. People do the birth certificate, social security card thing because, somebody did it for them.
It's basically the societal norm.
Right. So I think most things that people do, we believe them and we do them because that's the way it's done, not because we actually have any understanding or made like any independent decision, just because when the time came, we just did what everybody else did.
I feel you, but there's just certain things that, I'm sorry, you just sound dumb when it comes out of your mouth to me. Like when people ask me the dumbass questions they ask me, like I have people ask me all the time, like, well, since you're in the military, don't you agree with everything the government does? No. I have to explain to people, like, just because you're in the military doesn't mean you agree with everything the military does. Let me give you heads up. There's jobs that you'll do in the military, you'll never see combat. So that's why I actually had somebody, I was in uniform. I had somebody tell me, oh, you're a baby killer. I said,
why are you a baby killer?
That's what I said. I said, why am I a baby killer? You go into foreign countries and kill people. I said, I've never killed anyone.
Everybody in the military doesn't do combat.
Exactly. I've had people tell me, well, speaking of their guns here in the States, I had someone working with me, was a civilian, as a matter of fact, said he needs all the guns he has in case the U.S. government sends me after him and the black helicopters come to his house to come get him and his guns. So I had to play his fantasy out. I said, so you mean to tell me the black helicopters come, you gonna stop me with your AR-15, dude? I said, so let's play. So in a fire squad of soldiers, in a team of soldiers, you're gonna have a rifleman, a couple of riflemen, a grenadier, you're gonna have your machine gunner. You see what I'm saying? We all have 210 rounds and grenades. Now, if we want to go to actual upgrading this weaponry now, we can roll up in the Humvee. Now, Humvee's going to have a 249 attached to it, a 240 Bravo, or a Mark 19. Now, a Mark 19, Irene, is an automatic grenade launcher. Do you think his AR-15 is going to stop any of that? But he said helicopters, though. So I'm in a helicopter. You think you're going to shoot me down with your AR-15 and I'm in a helicopter? I'm just trying to figure this out. I don't understand the wet dream these people have. Like, you really, and then I don't understand why people don't act like the military's not made up of citizens. Like, I'm not about to go to my hometown. I'm not about to go to New York and shoot nobody.
That's what I always tell people too. I think I have a video where I'm like, and hey, Erica, I think I have a video where I'm like, you know, why we shouldn't make the police and the military our enemies. And it's essentially because those are our people. You know what I mean? Like, we can actually reach them if you don't make it us against them sort of thing. Hey, Erica. Wait, hold on.
Hello.
Can I take this off the screen?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, like, this dude was adamant. He was like, well, I'll take at least a few of you down before I go down. I said, really? Do you really believe that? You really think you're going to take a few of us down? I said, one, you think we going to know when we coming? I said, let's be real. If it's really that serious and the military's after you, why wouldn't we just drone strike your ass if it's that serious?
That's right. I had the same conversation with a coworker about gun rights, and I told him I would be okay for the most part if we didn't have guns as far as regular citizens. And he was like, no, what would we do if the government tried to stand up against us? I was like, we would die. They have drones. They have so many, they have bombs. Like, what sense are you making?
But let's be real, Erica. I'm a citizen. Let's think about this from a military standpoint. Wouldn't you want soldiers from certain areas? Okay, say they want to take over Texas. Wouldn't you want every soldier from Texas going to Texas to take over Texas? You think they're going to be able to point their weapon at their own family, friends, cousins, aunts, uncles? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, some of this shit is so phony. Oh, support the troops, always love the troops, but keep your guns in case you got to shoot the troops. Come on.
Are we just going to ignore that Pat Dillard is sitting beneath Ivy outside with a blue sky around her? You look like you're in a very relaxed setting right now.
Yes. Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, good.
Okay, you have a soft, gentle voice too. I thought I had a really soft voice, but you have a really soft voice too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's your voice, but you're welcome. Erica, what are you doing?
I guess I'm chilling out with you guys right now.
Dope. Voice too. I thought I had a really soft voice, but you. Okay, what time zone are we all in?
I'm in Central Time.
Your voice, but you're welcome. Oh wait, you have to mute. You have to mute us, Yakov.
I guess I'm chilling out with you guys right now.
Oh wait, I think I had a really soft voice. You have to mute us, or we're gonna have. Hold on. Oh, I can't mute it. Your voice, but you're welcome. Can you hear me? Yakov.
I guess I'm chilling out with you guys right now.
Okay, wait. You have to mute us. Why do you have to mute us? Or we're gonna have. Oh, I can't mute it. Okay. I think he figured it out.
Yeah, I got
it. Did you figure it out?
I'm chilling out with you guys right now.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. You have to mute us. Why do you have to mute us?
I think I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Hold on,
I think
wait.
he figured it out. No, I said you have to mute. If you're watching us, you have to turn it around. Okay, wait, you have to mute. I got to mute.
Lord Jesus, what's going on?
If you guys come up and you're watching us, then you have to like stop watching us. Well, you don't have to stop watching us, but you have to turn us down or mute us. And otherwise, when you unmute yourself, we'll hear ourselves. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, you did. I understood what you were saying.
Okay. I feel like I'm frozen. Hold on. Am I frozen?
You were frozen.
I'm not frozen anymore.
No, you still frozen.
Now I'm frozen in a new face. Why can't I get frozen in a cute face? What the heck? I'm going to be frozen. Okay. I'm not going to be. I'm going away until I can unfreeze myself. Okay. What the heck? Okay. Is your voice small, Cass? Okay. Cass, I would imagine that you had a very like impassionate sounding voice. Like I would imagine that your voice would have like a lot of energy to it. So if your voice was small, girl, all the mess you talk, I would definitely expect a different voice out of you. I'm gonna need proof. I do not believe you. I think you are lying. Okay. Oh wait. Okay, let me tell. Okay, I'm just wanted to tell him that he has to mute us too. Okay, let me tell.
It's off now. I think you.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
It's off now, right?
I'm just wanted to tell him that he has to mute us. It's still on.
Huh?
Okay, let me tell. It's still on.
It's still off?
No, I can still hear myself through your speaker somehow. I think you're listening to me
It's off now.
on speaker, and you're also listening on YouTube. You have to mute for YouTube. It's still on.
It's still off? I just heard myself.
No, yeah, you have to mute myself or YouTube, your speaker somehow. I think you're listening to me on speaker, and you're also listening on YouTube. You have to mute for YouTube. Okay, that was difficult. Yeah, you have to mute myself or YouTube, your speaker somehow. I think you're listening to me. Trying to get him to understand what's going on here. Okay, I think he's gonna figure it out. You guys. Understand what's going on here.
Yeah, tonight we should be good.
Thanks. Okay, I think he's gonna. Okay, I keep muting him to keep it from having reverb, and he keeps unmuting himself. Yes, Once Media, that's it. He needs to mute the YouTube. Once Media, that's what I'm trying to explain to him. But I don't think he's understanding what I'm saying. Or I think he thinks that I'm saying something different. Because I mute him and then he unmutes himself because I think he thinks I'm telling him like you're muted. But that's not what I'm trying to say to him. I'm trying to say you must. Hey, Adam. I'm trying to tell him that he must mute his YouTube. So we'll see if he sorts it out. Because I muted him and he mutes himself because I think he thinks I'm telling him like you're muted, but that's not what I'm trying to say to him. I'm trying to say you must.
Right.
Hey, Adam. I'm trying to tell him that he must. Oh, I gotta mute him again. Wait, Yakov, you have to mute YouTube. Did you do that? I'm telling him like you're muted.
Did I mute YouTube?
That's not what I'm trying to say. No, you didn't mute. Go out and come back in.
All right.
I'm trying to tell him that he was. Oh, it's yeah. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm gonna have him go out and come back in because I don't think he quite understands me. That was like a lot of. That was so much excitement. Okay, let me try to add him again. He did via StreamYard and not YouTube. Right.
Is that good?
Let me tell him to close YouTube. Close
I
YouTube.
can't.
You can't close YouTube? Okay, wait, let me tell him. Close YouTube. There we go. There. Did you close YouTube?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Okay, you start. Who solved this? Okay, one of them one's media. Thank you. He solved our problem. He was like, "Tell him to close YouTube." That was much. That was much more easy.
I never did the four-way chat before. I'm live.
That's okay. That's okay. No worries.
So what do you think about the verdict yesterday? I didn't see you on the B1 network.
Oh, I can't talk about it yet.
Oh, okay.
I can't talk about it yet because
You're doing
it's a chill section. It's going to be chill, but I think I'll be talking about it later today.
I got you.
Because my man needs to talk about it. And I will say, like I was saying earlier, that I'm going to have some interesting things to say about it because I notice a lot of Christianity into it. A lot of people are talking about how they're not ADOS. My feelings on this matter fall somewhere in the middle. But
yeah,
I don't want to say anything because if I start talking about it, I'm going to go on a rant and then it's not going to be such a chill session. It's going to be the opposite of chill. I'm trying not to go there. Although I had some people really tempting me at the beginning of this. They were really trying me. I was really going to go there, but I'm not going to. I think I'll either end up talking about it later or over the next couple days because my man was like, we should talk about this. And he and I actually don't agree.
I did a video on it. It's from a different perspective.
One of them one's media said that brother was hugging the convicted murderer. Oh, don't drag me in, you guys. Don't drag me in the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
we're
gonna get
He was hugging a convicted murderer. That is true. That is true. He was, and that is shocking. But not as shocking as what the judge did. That was more shock. And now I'm all for giving people Bibles. That woman needs God. She's clearly godless. But
right.
I don't know about hugging her. Like that just seems grossly unprofessional. I've never seen a judge put like physically touch anybody in a courtroom. So that was a bit awkward.
It showed me that we as a people, we're not ready to lead ourselves. That's what it showed.
Frantonio, the judge gave a murderer the Bible and a hug. Okay, the judge should not have hugged her. I'm not against giving her a Bible. I will say this. Somebody who has had somebody try to kill me, and I've talked about this before, who has had somebody take a foot-long knife and shove it into my neck, I forgave that person. Wow. So I feel like, y'all, why are you guys making me do this? Why am I letting myself do this? Okay. I feel, but let's just do it because clearly y'all want to do it. And I'm going to try to keep it light because I don't want to get too heavy into this. I will say this. The forgiveness portion of this, I don't have a problem with. That is something we're called to do. You know, scripture tells us that it's easy to be kind to those who are kind to us, right? It says, even wicked people do that. Even an evil person can be nice to somebody who's nice to them. The challenge is to be good to people who are not good to us. So I cannot fault that. I can't fault the forgiveness. Now, would I have hugged her? No. I would have forgiven, but I would not have hugged. The guy that tried to kill me, I didn't give him any hugs. You know what I'm saying? But I forgive him. You guys will never and have never heard me say anything bad about him. Now, the judge hugging her was a bit overboard for me. Like, I don't have a problem with the judge giving her a Bible, but why are you touching her? Like, that's way unprofessional and it's just a bad look. But I feel like the whole picture, you know, the bailiff fixing her hair for like 40 seconds. It was like a cool 30 to 40 seconds. She was like fussing with her hair. That made me cringe inwardly. You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of, as little Black kids, if you didn't have somebody tell you your hair was super beautiful, and every time somebody with straight hair came around, you wanted to play in their hair. It reminded me of that. And that made me want to vomit. But I feel like the forgiveness part I cannot fault. The giving her the Bible part I cannot fault. All that touchy-feely stuff I can fault. And the full picture of it all, Black dude hugging her here, Black judge hugging her there, this one fixing her hair, like that whole entire picture made me want to crawl inside myself and die.
I mean, I can come from a biblical aspect. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but however, from a social standpoint, you can forgive if you want, but you can't display that in front of the world, because it seems like every time we are brutalized and killed, all we do is apologize and forgive. And what happens is we're dealing with a group of people. They'll take that and say, "Well, okay, we'll give her 2 to 5 years and let her out on parole." It's a guarantee now.
Yeah, so basically, as far as the sentence goes, that sentence I have a problem with. I do have a problem with the sentence.
Oh, definitely.
She's not 10 years. She's not even going to do 10 years.
Yeah.
There are people much longer periods of time who have done completely kill another. And things considered and all the evidence they did in that trial, is a, but also it is
Right.
But yeah, I have to, Antonio, that bailiff, she problem. Hi, Ayo. That bailiff, I think if the bailiff hadn't been a part of it too, but I'm trying to say, they are American Black. I don't know where they're from, but I will say that I know that.
They're from the island of St. Lucia.
Where are they from?
The island of St. Lucia.
Oh, people.
I mean, they're actually descendants of slaves. They are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade too. But as far as culture is concerned, they're not ADOS.
That's not. Yeah, so I was thinking based on the accent, they might have been from. Is fighting like spiritual battle, you know.
St. Lucia is in the Caribbean. It's in the Caribbean. They're from the Caribbean.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know anything about St. Lucia though. So said we ourselves. I would agree with that. I agree with that to a point. I think that forgiveness is a good thing, and I think that Black people excel. Oh, you can't really hear me? Wait, can you guys not hear me?
Right now, the mother, she spoke at church about her son hugging
I want to make
Amber Guyger.
sure you guys can.
I don't know if you heard me or not. She did. Oh, let me type.
Working. We're hopeless. We're hopeless to get AirPods. We're hopeless. I hate this. This sounds fun. Stop. Let's see how the game goes.
What happened? Anybody know?
Okay, I was having a problem. Is it better now?
Yeah. It's good.
Okay, I went downstairs because clearly I was having a whole issue. I was breaking up on every word. Oh, I'm sorry. That's because I was on, so my router is in a wall. It's not like out anywhere. It's in a wall in my laundry room. And I was upstairs on the 3rd floor. So that could be what the problem was. So I just came downstairs because I figured if I came downstairs, then you guys can hear me a lot better.
You're good now. I can.
I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
So I said the mother spoke at her church about her son hugging her other son's killer. Because I know she can read social media. Everybody's talking about it. So I guess the mother did an explanation. I didn't watch it because it was no purpose. But because this is how people are crying out. They're lashing out because they're tired of being brutalized without getting justice. So when you have somebody who's always apologizing and forgiving, people get angry. I don't think they're necessarily angry at the son for doing it. They're angry at the situation. So that's how the average person lashes out, by making videos about it. So.
Yeah, I think some people try to make the son, the bailiff, and the judge as if they were all in cahoots to do this together. And I think that the bailiff, let's just put her to the side because she was just on some stupid stuff. Like, why are you fixing her hip? What is with the inappropriateness of the touching in this courtroom? You know, like, I've never known, isn't that against the law? Like, are bailiffs allowed to like stroke your hair?
I don't
think that's okay?
I guess it depends on who the person is.
I mean, yeah, I would feel like that would be like, you would get reprimanded, you lose your job or something. Like, you can't just be rubbing your fingers through somebody's hair for extended periods of time or at all as a bailiff. So that's like one thing, right? The other thing then for me that's a problem is the judge. I'm all for giving that woman a Bible because I'm not one of those people that don't think white people have souls. I think they have souls just like us. So I would give her a Bible too. She clearly needs a Bible. But I don't think hugging her was needed. Like, if you want to give her a Bible, you have a bailiff, even though your bailiff is funny style. Have your bailiff carry a Bible to her, you know, and give her the Bible if you feel that strongly about it. But So those are like two things. The brother hugging her, I could see. I mean, I wouldn't have hugged her, but like I said, I forgave the person that tried to kill me. So I don't think it's. I don't have a problem with forgiveness. I really don't. I wouldn't have personally touched her, but maybe he felt that that would push his limits to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that has nothing to do with the judge and what she was doing that was inappropriate. The bailiff was inappropriate. Now those two are a problem.
It just seems like we are giving more sympathy to Amber Geiger than Botham Jean and his family. It just seems like she was the victim. And, you know, people are tired of that.
I agree with that.
People are tired of that. That's why they're making videos, and all three of them are like Coon of the Century, because people are tired. They say, well, how can we keep getting justice and we keep apologizing?
I mean, I agree that she's being coddled in a situation. That I agree with. I think she should have definitely gone to jail for longer. Maybe if we're talking about, I mean, I'm not about to sit here and call another Black person a coon, but what I will say is maybe if we are talking about the attitude of the judge and of the attitude of the judge and of the bailiff, to me, are very Uncle Tom in nature. And I don't mean Uncle Tom as in the normal insult. I mean Uncle Tom as the character was portrayed,
Right.
which is no matter how bad somebody is to you, you are good, you forgive them, you love them. Everything is super by the book. You hope that your goodness will like overcome their, like the very Martin Luther King,
Right.
very Uncle Tom's Cabin. Like that was the character he played in the book, right? It's like
Right.
he knew that whites were doing wrong, but he chose to love them anyway. And his inspiration, angel, like if you guys have read the book, that's like how that goes. So I thought that was very Uncle Tom-esque. The playing in her hair, I would call it that. I would call it the ideal Negro to white people. Because remember, Uncle Tom was the ideal Negro in that book to the white woman that wrote the book. That ideal Negro that will love you no matter what. But I want to be careful, right? Because go ahead.
They were over the top in their sympathy.
Right. But what I want to be careful of is that the thing that I feel really separates Black people from white people, like the honest thing, not the skin color thing, but the heart thing, is that we are very humane. We're a very humane people. And that is what makes us beautiful. It is also our Achilles heel,
Right.
you know? And so we have to find a way to maintain that goodness without being complete and utter pushovers, or we're never going to better our place in society. Like, it was way too, like, why was she playing in her, like, when I saw the footage of her actually playing in her hair, she was like fixing it some more. I was like, why is she touching her so? Like, why is she touching her hair for 30 seconds straight? It's nothing even wrong with her hair. You know, like her hair looked the same after she did all that combing with her fingers that it did prior to that. So that is something a little more deep-seated, but we don't need to prove that we are better people than white people. The fact that blood doesn't run through the streets on a daily basis because of a race war, I think is proof that we are better than them.
Go ahead. I'm still listening. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because we will not stoop to the levels that they will stoop, or the degrees of violence that they will stoop with regularity. But yeah, it's a difficult sort of thing, right? I think had it just been the brother, that would have been more palatable than the whole kind of song and like everything that happens, you know?
Black people are not vindictive people in this country. That's part of our weakness in a way. But if we were vindictive people, we would be no better than the violence that's being portrayed. And so I think that maybe that family, they were trying to keep their head up. They were trying to portray themselves as civilized individuals. And I think when all this blows over in another couple of weeks, they may need to speak to the other individuals in that courtroom and ask them why the dynamics were that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole picture, I agree with you completely. And I think the whole picture was problematic. I would like to see the judge and the bailiff reprimanded simply because there cannot be exceptions to physical contact with an inmate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that woman is an inmate, and putting aside anything else, you should not be hugging her, right? You should not be playing in her hair. You should not be making physical contact with the inmate. So I would want to see some reprimanding going by because of that. If nothing else, taking everything else out of it. But I feel like that is where the line got really, really crossed. Was with those two individuals is where the line got really, really crossed. Yes, baby. What would you like? That's my little one. See, when I'm down by the kitchen/dining room area, can you go potty? Because you look like you need to potty. You're doing a whole dance. Little kids are like that, you know? They will have to potty and they will be doing the dance. Like, he's looking at grapes and in the refrigerator and dancing. And I'm like, please go potty. Like, do not dance and look for grapes at the same time. But yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. What I feel is really unfortunate just for me as a Christian is I heard so many people saying, like, this is Christianity for you. You know what I mean? Like, always wanting to forgive people and stuff like that. And that just made me feel like really sad because I'm like, forgiveness is not a bad thing. But a lot of stuff did go on in that courtroom that was inappropriate. But it wasn't the forgiving part that was inappropriate. It was all the other stuff that was inappropriate. It was the petting her. It was the hugging her from the judge. It was the sentencing that was inappropriate. That stuff was inappropriate.
I keep thinking about when you said something about soul. If you go to the Webster's Dictionary, we're actually in there as a definition of soul. No other group is in there. If you go to the Webster's Dictionary and read it, it has an example of the so-called African American culture. Soul is actually in there. So when you said something about that, that came to mind because no other group of people is in that definition except us. So that's kind of why we are so forgiving. I mean, it's what it is, but it is to our detriment.
I am disappointed that they are blaming Christianity for the forgiveness, thinking that that's inappropriate. Christianity is a faith that does hold people accountable.
Yeah.
But it's a very strict, faith actually, and can be very unyielding. But a lot of people have forgotten that. But you have to understand as well, the court system and the religious system are two separate entities.
Yeah, so I think 12 Keys of Freedom said something. He said, you can forgive privately. When you make it public, it makes it about how you want other people to see you. And I agree with that because going back to what Pat Dillard was saying, there are two scriptures that come to my mind between the two of your comments. One of them has to do with, the several scriptures dealing with punishment, because in the Bible, especially when we look in the Old Testament, things have a very finite punishment, right? And the punishments are sometimes violent, like so many lashes or something like that. And nobody is getting hugs there. They're punished and then you leave it alone. Like after their punishment is over, you let them live life and have an opportunity to do right. That's typically how it's done in the Bible. And the other one would be that you know, even when you are doing something good, you don't do that in public. You know, it says don't do your alms in public to be seen of men. So that's something that you do privately. So that's why when I thought they were from Africa, that's why I thought maybe it could be a song and dance thing too, like them trying to be so public with their forgiveness and this and that. But like I said, I don't have a problem with the forgiving part. I don't even have a problem if the brother felt the need to hug her, because for all we know, it could have repulsed him to hug her, but to get past that feeling, to be truly forgiving, he felt that's something he needed to do. I'm not going to judge the brother. But what I will say is I really strongly feel that the judge was highly inappropriate. And I feel that the bailiff, with all the hair play, was disgusting.
You know, I want to say something about forgiveness. I mean, I have nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to tell you what God thinks about their actions. I'm going to read Revelations 13:10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth by the sword must be killed by the sword. Here is the patience of the saints. So the Bible tells what's going to happen to people like that. You can forgive them, but God has a punishment for them. So he that killeth by the sword must be killed by the sword. That is in Revelation, the New Testament. That's Revelations 13:10. He who leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. Their ancestors led people into captivity. So if you really look at what's going on, that's on their head. All of their sins is going to be on their head for what they did. It's two parts. It's living by the sword and being punished by the sword. It's going to be punished by what their ancestors did. They led people into captivity. That's all I wanted to read. It's there. You can forgive, but that's not how the Most High God thinks about what they did.
Yeah, I think it's the extra bravado. But I do think it's being used to and what I don't like is I feel the situation is being used to further divide the Black community. And we already put up so many divisions throughout the diaspora, right? So we want to divide American Blacks from other types of Blacks. We want to exclude some people from the party or have a problem with them or feel they don't have a voice. You know, we want to divide each other amongst religious divisions. Specifically for Black Americans, we want to really put the pressure on Black Christians. And, you know, and then also there's a whole sector of people I noticed that took this up because she's a Black woman, the judge, to say this was kind of like mammy behavior and, you know, evidence of Black women doing things that are incorrect and wrong. Yes, but those aren't the ones you can have. Or Black women doing things that are incorrect and wrong. And, you know, I'm trying to understand how one white woman murders a Black man and it turns into us all turning on each other. Like, I'm trying to make that make sense.
It always does.
You know, we're all turning on each other because this white woman killed one of us. That's a problem for me.
It always works like that.
You want some raisins? Hold on, I'm gonna get him some raisins.
No, I don't want any raisins.
What do you want? I can bake you some bread, but I don't have any bread baked, if that's what you're asking me.
No, I need to have a piece of bread.
You can, but I would have to bake you some bread. Do you want me to bake you some bread?
Yeah.
Okay. See, if anybody wants bread around here, I have to bake it.
Wow, you make it fresh.
And so I have not, but I have a really good quick bread recipe. You know, that doesn't necessarily work. If you're doing like the process that takes like 3 hours, but I have a quick bread recipe that works really, really well for times such as this. And I have to say, I've been very spoiled in that I normally make quick bread and I don't make traditional like bread that takes 3 or 4 hours to make. I do quick bread more just because sometimes I don't feel like being bothered with that. Also, with such a young child in the house, he will go and poke the yeast. He'll like go poke the bread when it's rising, which is problematic.
Great.
It's funny.
But he wants peanut butter and jelly because I bought peanut butter, which I normally don't buy. I don't think I've bought peanut butter in a year, but I wanted to make peanut butter cookies. And so I have peanut butter in there. So he saw it. And I also bought jelly because I make baking powder biscuits a lot as a treat for them, and they get jelly with it. That's like their version of candy. And he saw the two, and he put them together in his mind. It was like peanut butter and jelly. Do you have some bread? So I'll make some bread. He can do that because I'm going on vacation, so I'll probably bake them some bread and some oatmeal cookies as a treat because they won't see me again for Tuesday morning. Hi, one of them ones. How are you?
Peace, family. Good conversation that you guys have got going.
Oh, nice. I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. I was just listening to your commentary about forgiveness and etc. And you know what, Irene, I've got to take. You know what, I admire you because it's just not in my personal kind of DNA to just forgive like that. But I do, admire the way that you say that, you can forgive and things like that. I'm always striving to learn and be a better person. We've all got a past and things like that. But the one thing I would say on that is that that kind of bothers me about this situation is, it could be argued that, the white man over the centuries has had this this idea to pacify us, no matter what happens, we should just be grateful. Indirectly, we shouldn't be violent ever towards them. And I'm not condoning violence or anything like that. If it happens, forgive, the most in things that's happened to us as a people. This is just one situation, right? But we've had white supremacists shoot up a church, and we forgive them. We've had Emmett Till. The list goes on. I won't run down the list, but it's just like the reason why I say I admire you is because me, I'm kind of like, if you violate me, then I'll violate you. Like I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing or it's right or wrong. That's just kind of how I feel. Like, also, for example, right? Conspiracy theories aside, when the Twin Towers came down, what did America do? They went over to the Middle East to kick someone's ass. You know what I mean? Iraq didn't have nothing to do with the Twin Towers, but they went over there. Britain, the little lapdog as well, they went over there with America, and some other European countries went over there with America, and they whooped some ass. And then they said, oh, by the way, yeah, Osama bin Laden is around here somewhere. Okay, yeah, let's go into Afghanistan and all of that, So the white man himself knows that, if you violate us, we're going to come after you. And it's a balance as well, because if you're too forgiving and people can see that trait in you, then you're destined to get violated, right? And I'm gonna just say this one last thing. I don't want to hold the mic too long. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've heard of the legendary story of when the Europeans had first contact with West Africans, when the Portuguese had first contact with West Africans, and the West Africans on the coast were like, oh, these foreigners have turned up in these big ships. Okay, let's send one of our princesses to go and greet them. And the Europeans took that princess back to Portugal, paraded her around town and said, hey, look, there's more of these from where we came from. We can go back over there and get some more slaves and, do the whole transatlantic slave trade thing. And it's just kind of like, whilst we're forgiving, other people, other groups, don't have that same energy, and they'll be quick and ready to violate us and exploit that kind of trait. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not saying that you can't forgive, you shouldn't forgive or anything like that. But yeah, I think it's a balance sometimes.
I mean, I definitely hear what you're saying. I think that forgiveness should not be confused with helplessness, right? The two things are not synonymous necessarily. So I think sometimes when we think about forgiveness, we think like, okay, that means that I have to be a complete doormat. I can't have standards. I can't protect myself. It's not that serious. You know what I mean? You can still have standards. You can still protect yourself. It's not to that degree. I think the forgiveness is what keeps you human, right? It's what stops you from being an animal or a barbarian. And there's a way to maintain that part of yourself and still have the ability to protect and be pragmatic about how you deal with somebody that you know is problematic. Or in our case, deal with a group of people who tend to be problematic. And also recognize that the same sort of feeble-minded sort of behavior we saw in the bailiff who was like fixing her hair compulsively, that sort of behavior that we see is something that is adopted over time and through a pathology that comes from a history of, brainwashing, breeding, like literal breeding of Black people. And in that same way, the sort of amoral, violent behavior that we saw come from Amber is something that has essentially been bred into them. You know what I mean? So a lot of us are dealing with things that are beyond our personal decisions. A lot of times we grew up with ideologies and we don't even recognize, because nobody sat us down and was like, this person is better than you, or you should feel this way about them, or nobody sits a white kid down most of the time, right? And goes, Black people are just trash and you should hate them. But that message does get through our behaviors and our actions and the things that, we say without directly saying them. We pick up on a lot of things, both in the Black community and the white community. So we just have to find a way to, because here's the thing. Okay, this is what I mean. So somebody breaks into your house, right? Breaks into your house, steals all your things, attacks your family and all that. You start to use force to stop them, right? So you pull out your gun, maybe you shoot them in the leg, maybe you handcuff them, you do whatever you have to do to get control of this person.
Right.
Once you have control of them, do you continue with the brutality, right? A forgiving person is like, okay, I've contained the situation. This is as far as I need to go, right? So we enact punishment. That's it. A vindictive, violent, barbaric person might go, okay, now we're about to torture you, And that's, I think, when we cross the line into something where we start to lose humanity. And that's a lot of what we saw done to us. I don't know if we become just like them, if we become willing to, be brutal toward children, if we become willing to, after the situation is contained or after we use whatever force we need to be safe, if we continue with the brutality, then we are literally becoming like them, And they wrote a book about this, right? They called that book Animal Farm, right? Did they not? Where it was kind of a conversation about whites and everybody else, and how the everybody else, if given the chance, would literally morph into them. And that's what I don't think we want to see happen with ourselves. I think we need to find that middle ground.
Yeah, for sure. So like in your example there, me personally, I wouldn't feel the need to, sadistically attack or do anything further than restrain the person, and because that particular circumstance wouldn't warrant, anything like that. I guess it's always a balance, and I totally understand, and in fact agree with what you're saying in terms of not becoming barbaric. Remember, the term barbaric comes from the Europeans, the barbarians. Terms like vandalism comes from the Vandals, the Goths. This is, if you like, their nature. That's where the word comes from. That's the etymological root of the word. And I agree, we shouldn't become like that. I guess my kind of example is more extreme. So like if somebody broke into your house and did something extreme, like chop off your partner's hand and did some real sadistic stuff, I don't know, man. Like, I forget all that forgive stuff, man. It's go time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on some straight, but it's it's about the circumstance of what warrants, you know, a certain type of response. But yeah, I agree with you that you know, we shouldn't like if someone's evil, it shouldn't give you the justification for you to be evil. Do you know what I'm saying? And I guess if you know, if you're capable of doing something just as evil as you know, what someone else, what an evil person has done, then what does that say about you? What does that say about your nature, kind of thing?
CJH said, the more we forgive them, the worse they become. It emboldens them and justifies their behavior. I don't think it's our forgiveness that has emboldened them. I think it's our complete inability, or at least we're not unable, but the fact that we do not actually assert ourselves in any way. All we do is forgive. The forgiveness is not the problem. It's been an action to stop brutality that is the problem, right? So we don't want to do anything to stop them. We just let them do it, and then forgive them. And so I think that that is the problem. You know what I'm saying? When somebody does something wrong, there should be a punishment, right? There should be a just punishment for what they did wrong. And you can forgive them, but the punishment needs to happen. And honestly, okay, I'm about to say something that a lot of people probably aren't going to understand. So the Bible says, he who hates the rod hates his child. He who spares the rod hates his child, right? He who spares the rod hates his child. What is that saying? When you hate somebody, you let them run rogue, right? So many of us really do hate white people to the point where we let them run rogue. The problem with somebody running rogue is that they do things like repeatedly harm you. So we take a very passive approach to dealing with them. But when you don't spare the rod, when you don't spare punishment, when somebody does something wrong and you punish them, then that corrects the behavior. That doesn't mean you have to be evil to them for all time. That means that it's clear that when you do A, B will happen to you. When you do A, B is the consequence. Our issue is not forgiveness. Our issue is an inability. We spare the rod. Do you know what I mean? We're constantly not wanting to do any punishment. There's no punishment. Forgiveness is not the issue. So I would disagree with you that the more we forgive them, the worse we become. I think the more there are not consequences for actions, the worse they become. Because why should they stop? There are no consequences.
Yeah, it's the accountability that's the issue.
Yeah, I agree.
The
You're
optics
a
wasn't
Black.
good.
We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. The optics is not good in this situation because, as somebody mentioned on the panel before, you know, the stroking of the. I mean, it's just a combination. It's a series of blunders. I mean, the stroking of the hair, the hug, the judge, also hugging as well. Is kind of like, is this actually staged? What am I watching here? Is this staged? What's really going on here? I've never seen this in a courtroom. You understand what I'm saying? Because when, you know, there's been plenty of examples of, you know, murderers getting convicted and getting 25 years and things like that. When have you ever seen a judge have that level of compassion that they want to jump off the stand and give the convicted murderer a hug? Like what's, I don't know, like the optics is not good because there's, you know, people are going to interpret this situation in many different ways. You know, the Black community is going to interpret it in a certain way, and also the white community are going to interpret it a certain way. You hear some people saying that this is a victory for Black people, right? But then, okay, so if it's a victory for us as Black people, what, you know, it just doesn't make no sense to me. That's why I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying that, you know, there's some kind of agenda, but it's highly suspicious to me.
So I will say I agree with you there. The optics were very, very bad. I don't even have any words. Like I can't say this enough. I'm so repulsed by the bailiff specifically That was the most disgusting thing I have ever witnessed. What was she doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did she still have a job? I'm just trying to understand. Why are you touching her? Why are you doing that? That was very, very awkward. And I think when you add to that, the judge getting off the stand, walking over, wait, I take it back. What's that black female judge on TV?
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember her name.
She's gotten off the stand and hugged somebody. The older black female one. I've seen her get off the stand and hug a couple people, but technically she's not a judge. She's a lawyer, right? She's an administrative judge. So she's a lawyer. She's not a real judge. But in a real legit courtroom that's not trying to make money off of ratings, I've never actually seen or heard of such a thing. Like, I'm pretty positive it can't be legal to go around hugging and petting on, inmates.
It seems that's really bothering you, right?
Well, I mean, that is really, that it does bother me because I feel like it's the combination of all those things. And when you were saying one of them ones, could it be staged? I thought about this because I'm gonna tell you guys, y'all know I'm not for television. I'm not for media like that. I'm not trying to mess up my mind all googly, trying to just suck in the stuff that they put out. But I don't trust stuff that they push heavily. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Bible says something like, that which is highly esteemed among men, right?
I just saw that as individual. I saw that as an individual act of selling, excuse my French, ass kissing. That's what I saw.
You think they individually all decided to kiss her butt?
No, I'm saying I just saw that as that individual, that black woman, I saw her as that's what she just chose to do by caressing her hair. I think that was just an individual's decision that she felt sorry for her the same way the rest of them did. I didn't think much out of it. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't think that it was that serious outside of her just, you don't like that term, so I'm not going to say it, but selling out. That's what I saw it as. So.
But here's the thing, right? Perhaps this is an impossible question. Whoever that person was that was stroking her hair, has she ever felt the need to stroke any other convicted person's hair as well?
The judge too. Has the judge ever hugged other convicted criminal for murder that was being sentenced? Has she ever hugged anyone, especially anyone of her own race? Has she ever done that? That's the question. And we know the answer is no.
If she has a track record of doing this, then okay, that's kind of explainable. But I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Cass said she agrees with the conditioning. She also thinks that people cannot help what they believe. However, reasoning can be taught. I don't know that reasoning can always be taught. Maybe it depends on how you teach it. Sometimes you teach through punishment. So I think, yes, you can teach. Sometimes you have to teach through reprimanding and punishment. As far as that lady, I saw a pathology. Like, she reminds me of, okay, so my daughters will want their hair flat ironed. I flat iron my hair whenever I take a trip for convenience purposes. They wanted their hair flat ironed, and I wouldn't do it because they went through a period of time where they were very obsessed with straight hair, right? And I did not want them obsessing over straight hair. I wanted them to view curly hair as the better hair, right? And not to dislike straight hair, but to like what's on their head the most, right? So what I saw is that some parents don't do that. Let's say if you straighten your child's hair right away, or like I said, when you encounter a white person and you start playing in their hair because there's something about that you think is better that you like. When I saw her, that's what she reminded me of, a little kid, a little black kid who has been told their hair is nappy, who had the chance to touch a white person's hair and just went nuts. I mean, I have definitely seen little black kids do this, and it makes me want to die inside. And that is what I saw, but like with a grown adult woman. I saw somebody who was very sick and lost.
The day and age we live in, you have to be conscious of that. That's why I don't think, because I heard that before too, but people were saying, she wanted to have hair like that. But the day and age we live in, social media and information, how Black people feel about the hair situation. natural hair, how that actually looks in public, respecting and caring about your own appearance. So I kind of found it hard that, you know, she was kind of had an affection for that type of hair over. I just thought, excuse my French, she was just ass kissing. That's how I saw it. I could be wrong. Maybe she was caressing because psychologically she always wanted straight hair. That could be. I didn't look at it like that, and I'm not saying that's not the reason. I just thought,
yeah, not just the wanting of the straight hair, but the idea, like the idolizing of whiteness. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like
exactly, that's it.
it was, you know, like, this is my idol, this is my pet, right? And I'm going to stroke its hair. You know, I'm going to be in close proximity to it. I'm going to show it adoration. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like that's what she was doing. She was adoring her. She was worshiping her in a sense.
Right.
And she was reveling in this moment of, oh, I touched it. Oh, nothing happened. Let me touch it again. Oh, nobody's stopping me. Let me touch it again. She sat there for like 30 seconds and ran her fingers through her hair. And without anybody coming in and being like, hey, don't touch her or anything, then she continued to do it to a point that was uncomfortable before she stopped. So that's what I mean. Like, it was a sign of adoration to me. Adoration of that white woman that was sitting there, which I think that brought the situation down to like such a grotesque level that then, you know, everything else was like compounded on top of that. Because that was the first thing that happened, right? And then the second thing that happened was the brother hugging her. And yes, Zero of Black, I did hear that he didn't want her to go to jail at all. I'm not about that life. Like, you have to get punishment. That's not a very Christian attitude. The Christian attitude, like forgiveness is part, don't get me, part of Christianity, but punishment is too. The Bible says the Lord chastens who he loves. Nothing is Christian about letting people do bad things and not punishing them.
I'm not gonna lie. I was so angry when I saw that. I said, if I had have been on the jury and I saw how they was behaving, I would have just let her go free then. Let her go free. If you're thinking, I don't want her to do jail time, let her go free then. If you want to hug her and give her a Bible, let her go free. If you want to caress her hair, don't give her no time then. I mean, seriously, I was that angry then, because what is the purpose of it when you're showing the world that she is still highly a victim after being a murderer? She's going to be out to 2 to 5 years anyway. If I was on the jury and I knew that prior to, which is impossible, but that's how I was feeling, I would have said, you know what, just walk then. What difference does it make?
That's a very good point. Yeah.
What difference do it make if you're going to react like that to the punishment that someone got for killing a black man, your brother, and at the same time, she got a lightened sentence that she's only going to do half of good behavior? Why not just let her walk? If you don't want her to go to jail and you think your brother in heaven is saying you will want the same thing, then just let her walk.
Yeah, because it undermines the justice system, right?
Right.
A convicted murderer is being, you know, treated with affection and all this kind of thing. What I will say is that a picture tells 1,000 stories. It's interesting, you know, listening to your perception on this, Irene. I didn't initially think, I didn't really conceive of the idea of what you was thinking in terms of her having an internal introspective affection for white women, white people, or white hair or anything. But it also, what I would say is, I think at the time, the woman Geiger, she was crying, right? So it could just simply be down to, oh, she, I don't know, felt some burning desire to comfort her while she was crying. I mean, even that in and unto itself is an abomination, and, you know, is unprofessional. And also, why would you have that type of compassion for, once again, a convicted murderer? So, but yeah, a picture tells 1,000 stories, and until we have more details on it, it's always going to be speculation, I guess.
Yeah, you know, okay, so for the men in the room, have you ever been with a woman you've been looking like for your in to like touch her or have sex with her? And maybe she needs comfort. Like, some guys work like this, right? Maybe she needs comfort. So she starts crying or she's having a bad day, and you use it as your opportunity to show some adoration for her, right? To touch and pet her and all that. if I bought the she was crying, maybe she wanted to comfort her thing, I would think it would be in that context, right?
Right.
You were looking for a reason, and then when the door was opened, you did it, and nobody stopped you, so you kept on doing it because that's where your heart was the whole time. I do want to say this to Prince. Prince said the commandments say to forgive your neighbor, not the heathen nations. But I would argue against that because Matthew 43 and 44, and this is Christ talking, says, ye have heard it hath been said that thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, pray for them which despitefully use and persecute you. And it goes on to say, for if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? And if ye salute only your brethren, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans do so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. So I just want to say that, like, there is absolutely nothing wrong, and we are taught to forgive bad people. That has nothing to do with punishment, though. But we are to forgive bad people, not just the people who are like our neighbors, our family, the people we love. We're taught to forgive the people we hate too. The people we have a problem with, we're taught to forgive them too. The people we are beefing with, the people we don't like, the people who hurt us, despitefully use us, we're taught to forgive them too. It takes a lot of character to do something like that. But that has nothing to do with punishment. Like, they still need to be punished. Now, petting them and giving them hugs and pats on the back and stuff, I don't know about all that. I think like that's a whole nother thing. I'm not with that whole.
If you look at Matthew 15 and 24, he's talking about, he told the Canaanite woman he came for the lost sheep of Israel. So a lot of times we take things out of context. When he's talking about neighbor, he's actually talking about his people. If you go to Matthew 15 and 24, where the Canaanite woman asked him to heal her, and he said, I do not give, I am sent only to the lost house of Israel. And then he said, not to meet and take children's bread and cast it to dogs. So a lot of times people they only read a portion of the scripture, and then they apply it to the entire world. But the entire Bible is written for Israel. And that's who he was talking to. He made it very clear. So the same, I saw a comment from somebody 144. He's actually right, the one you put up.
Okay, so this is what I will say. If we look at Matthew chapter 5, 43 through 45, it says, you have heard it hath been said that thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But he said again, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, pray for them which despitefully use and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. It literally talks about your neighbor there. Right. Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. You have heard it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. Right. But I say unto you, love your enemies and bless them that curse you. And then so that there's no confusion, he goes on to say that the Lord lets his sun shine down on the wicked and the good. He lets it rain on the just and the unjust. Right? It says that we may be the children of our Father which is in heaven. See, so this doesn't make them good people or anything.
He doesn't want us to hate.
Forgive them, He
doesn't want us to hate our enemy. He says, vengeance is mine. That's going to be him exacting judgment for the things that
turn to a Bible battle.
Right. So he doesn't want us to hate our enemy because he says vengeance is mine. He said we don't need to have hate in our heart, but we do need to love our brother. So it's going to be him exacting judgment. He said, don't waste your time being evil. He said, it's like, I got you. You don't want to put that burden on yourself. At the same time, you do have to put your neighbor first. Your people will come first. And a lot of times when we get, just like the guy, I can never remember his name, that shot all our people up in the church. The guy they gave Burger King to. What is his name? Dylan Roof. So it was incredible that everybody said they forgave him. That's fine. You're not supposed to say that openly. That's something that you talk to yourself and to the Most High God about. You're not supposed to tell the world. That's not our responsibility. It says, envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways. So we're not to be running after them and doing what they do. We're supposed to have these conversations with the Most High God ourselves and among our people. We're not supposed to show the world that we're out there to kiss people's feet after they stomp on our necks. So you can forgive, but you don't go out of your way, especially to disrespect your own people for people that are oppressing you. That's not how it works. And you know, they're going to have, if you research what Botham Jean's brother did, every time you click on the case, you see him hugging Amber Geiger. So the media is just, they're running with it. That's what they want to show you. And you have to realize that's how the world works. You can be spiritual. I don't even agree blaming everything on Christianity, Black Christianity, even though I'm not one. But I think it's weak leadership. I think it's weakness how we teach our children. And I think that's how that played out. Because somebody should have grabbed that young man and said, look, I understand what you want to do, but we can't do this in front of the world. How you train your kids go out in the watch, because he did say, no one told me to do this. But if he had been trained by his mom and dad and understood how the world works, he wouldn't have did it.
Well, his father said that that's how he raised them.
Okay, well, all right, well, there it is.
His father got up in church and they doubled down on it. And then he after he got his attention, he said he didn't want to see her in jail. I mean, I agree with you that forgiveness didn't need to take place publicly. He didn't need to make a display of it. And then with the judge and then the flipping bailiff playing in her hair. Bureau of Black said, that's the problem, Irene. The New Testament was taught to us by them. Judge Tammy the Mammy should be recalled from her bench. Well, I believe she should be recalled from her bench. I'm not going to call her Tammy the Mammy, but I do agree she should be taken off the bench because you should not be hugging up on a prisoner.
I can't argue with that.
Antonio said that was highly inappropriate to stroke that lady's hair. That was like hair porn. Like that was really problematic. She rubbed it for a long time too. I thought it was like a little pat. When I saw the footage, she stroked it many times. Like she kept stroking it. I thought it was on a loop, but it wasn't on a loop. It was her just again and again with so much care. I could not.
So you think she had
in the sunken place? Yes, she was in the sunken place. I agree.
Maybe she had too many white dolls as a child or something. You think that?
I don't even like dolls in my house. I don't allow dolls in my house. But she definitely played with some white dolls when she was a child. I wish somebody would. I've had people try to give my daughters dolls, and I've had to quietly dispose of those dolls because I don't like dolls. Period. Definitely not a doll that doesn't look, like one of us. That's going to be a problem.
Another thing that really pissed me off was, if you look at what Botham Jean's brother did, he turned to the judge and he asked the judge, "Can I hug her?" Why couldn't Amber Geiger's family ask the judge, could she apologize for Botham Jean's death? That never happened. It was the friend. It was the friend who said an apology. We never heard it from Amber Geiger. We never heard it from Amber Geiger's relatives. You didn't hear them apologize. So they could have turned to the judge. I almost called her Tammy the Mammy. They could have turned to the judge and said, they could have turned to the judge and said, hey, can we apologize? We want to apologize to the family. But they didn't. They were arrogant.
The whole situation is infuriating and frustrating because when you look at the many examples of Black people on death row, whether they deserve to be on death row or not, I've never seen any signs of compassion when Emmett Till was told to sit on his Bible to boost him up because they couldn't get the electrical connectors onto his head properly. There was no signs of compassion. You understand? It's just frustrating. I don't even think that compassion should have been shown in private. It shouldn't have been shown at all. As a matter of fact, what I'm more frustrated with is that's what was in their heart, really and truly. You know what I'm saying? Like You know, for them to no one told them to do that. They got up off their own free will and felt the need to do that. You know, the brother felt the need to consult the judge and say, "Hey, can I hug her? Why? What has compelled you to? What type of you know, what is this? Is there a secret relationship going on there? Like, wh- how is that even? How does someone kill your kinfolk, your brother, your actual brother, your blood brother, and then you're jumping up talking about, oh, can I hug her? Where does that come from? I'm intrigued.
I feel
But
like
you know, it is what it is. Man.
I fought the brother the least. I really do. I fought the, now I have to say this, I fought the hug the least. This old, you know, other rant he went on about not wanting to see her in jail, there's nothing Christian about. I don't know what he was thinking. Like, just letting her not get punished is not a Christian make. But that's like one thing. But the hug, the wanting to forgive her, I mean, I don't fault it. I don't think it should have been on camera. I don't think it should have been public. I think he could have gone and visited her. He could have done whatever he wanted to do. But I think but I fought the judge and the bailiff the most. Unfortunately, because they all three engaged in these shenanigans in the same place, it all looks really, really, really bad.
yeah.
Like, the whole thing looks real bad. It was just too much going on, like way too much happening.
They're trying to explain their way out of it right now, but they can't. You know, the mom is saying people are misinterpreting her son hugging Amber Guyger, but it's too late now. If you have to explain it, it was wrong.
Wait, how are they trying to explain it? I missed that
They
part.
were. I saw. They were explaining on church. I saw. I saw a headline that they were trying to explain their son hugging Amber Guyger at their church. That people are misinterpreting it.
I read it. I mean, I watched it. I watched them talking at the church.
I can't
It
stop.
was more the same thing. It was more of, you know, he raised him that way.
Right. That's why.
He didn't tell him, but he wasn't surprised that he did it. The mom, you know, like, it was really much of the same thing. But that's where I started to feel like maybe they're not even really Christian. That's why I was like, okay, is this a different, you know what I'm saying? Because then they were doing like the most. And I feel like they started doubling down on it and making a bigger deal of it and being more flamboyant. Like, even if you were talking about that at the church, have the press know to come. You know, how did the press know to come to your church? Because you were going to be talking to the very tiny congregation that's there about your son. Like, that was literally a press conference.
Irene, you sound like an Israelite. You might well just drop Christianity and come on our side. Yeah, come on our side. You sound like one anyway. You think like me. And how can you be a Christian if you think like me?
Maybe that means that you.
Right. If you believe in punishment,
Maybe that's
Shots
what's happening.
if you believe in punishment, you might as well come over to our side.
Well, I mean, I'm Christian, so I believe in punishment because that's biblical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the way they're taught, because they don't actually read the Bible, they don't believe it. They think everything is forgiveness, and God doesn't care about anything you do wrong. You just have to call on His name. You don't have to do any works. It says faith without works is dead, and they don't teach that in the church.
Yes, faith without works is dead. I will agree with that. I will say that, yes, people think that God is some kind of a hippie. Which could not be further from the truth. But if you say anything other than that, then they will say that you're fear mongering. But the reality is, your parents are both loving and just. If your parents care about you, they also correct. So that's just a dynamic that is there. And I think a lot of people do want to kind of look over that.
Yeah.
But the whole situation was disgusting. I cannot lie. It was. Why not said, can someone define to forgive as concise as you can for me? Do you?
What's up with that avatar?
Oh, can someone define? That's a cute avatar, though. But he's being funny, though. Can someone define to forgive as concise as you can for me, please? How do you view forgiveness?
I view forgiveness as you not holding hate in your heart over what somebody did. It doesn't have to be displayed towards that person. They don't even have to know that you forgave them. So it means that you're no longer angry, upset, and you no longer have hatred. You no longer have disdain. That's no longer bothering you. It's actually a weight lifted off of your psyche and your chest. That whatever they did wrong to you, you no longer hold a grievance. That's how I determine forgiveness. It's not necessarily verbally apologizing to someone or saying you forgive them. So it's you're letting it go, whatever they did that hurt you. That's what forgive to me. I don't know, somebody else may agree.
Yeah, that's what it is to me too. I think you can harbor grudges against people, and it can affect your behavior, right? So I think forgiveness is like I said, not to be separated from punishment, but you punish because punishment is just.
Right.
You forgive because you're not going to harbor anything. You're not going to, the Bible says anger and sin not, right? So you can be angry, but you're not going to be sinful and you're angry. And so I think forgiveness is a part of that process. You let go of the anger and you let go of the unhealthy, unrighteous anger and animosity. Right. You let go of the desire for vengeance that extends past punishment and things like that. But you punish, right? Punishment is love. I just want to say that. People don't believe that, but punishment is a form of showing love to somebody. You care about people, you don't let them run road, right?
For me, forgiveness, I'm gonna come at this from another angle. I don't forgive, I don't forget. I mean, I do forgive. I mean, if it's something, if you stepped on my toes or something, and it really hurt, and I can forgive you. I don't know, but when you're talking about something as extreme as a loss of life, like I'm not forgiving and I'm not forgetting. Like that's just me. But also time is another factor. Like time is the healer of all things. Over time, you will naturally, I guess, not have the anger or resentment towards that person, perhaps. Again, it depends on the degree of the offense. I mean, I've never had anyone conduct such an abomination against me. I've never had someone, try to take my life or kill someone that, so I can't really speak to that degree. I've definitely forgiven people and forgiven things in the past. But this is such an extreme circumstance that I don't know. I don't think, I mean, I'm not gonna go out of my way to necessarily you know, like come and kill you or something like that. But yeah, man, that emotion is gonna be there. But as I was saying, maybe over time, it would die down and it would dissipate and it would disappear. And maybe at that point, maybe that's what forgiveness is. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, for me, I can't really fault the brother even wanting to forgive the murderer because I forgave the person that tried to kill me. So I feel like I know what it's like to forgive somebody who has done something horrible, like try to take your life. I was in surgery for 7 hours. I still bear the scar, right? And he got a very light sentence too, and he was Black. He got almost no sentence because he was in the military. So,
where was he stationed?
Oceanside. Well, no, San Diego.
He's Marines?
No, he was in the Navy.
Navy?
So, yeah, I mean, to the point, it was hard to get him arrested too. I think part of this is because she was white. Part of it is because they protect each other. I know for me, it was like a movie. I had to call the chief of police off of vacation.
What year?
Like, why is he still, I don't know how I got his number. Somehow I got his number. I called him. He was literally fishing. And I had to be like, this man is still calling my house. You guys aren't going to arrest him?
Domestic violence is big in the military. What year was that?
what year was it? Well, I don't want to go into that because you know.
But I tell you what,
But
Irene,
what
I
I-
don't want to.
But
Go ahead.
domestic violence, the military doesn't play with that.
Well, let me say he got a very light sentence. It included not even jail time where he could go in, like leave jail for work and come back. It was difficult to get him arrested, and he shoved a 1-foot knife into my neck. Like that's pretty serious. You know what I'm saying? And kidnapped me. So that's like a whole serious sort of situation. So I think some of these protections come with military cops, things like that. They protect their own. And I think another aspect of it is I forgave him. I fully forgive him. I never say anything bad about him or anything like that. And so I cannot fault anybody wanting to forgive somebody who's done something horrible, because I know that something that can be done and should be done. And nothing comes from not forgiving them. Like something like that will eat you alive, you know? So that was more for me as a person than anything. So I guess I look at the brother part very differently because I can relate to forgiving somebody who's done something very, very awful.
Yeah, you know what, and this is why I say I commend you, and I'm not trying to say that how I feel was right or anything. I'm just talking the truth, right? My truth. But the reason why I say I commend you with the whole forgiveness thing, and that is because it's freedom, isn't it? Once you've forgiven, then you've got that freedom to relieve your mind space and concentrate on other things. So I hear that. I don't want to get into your personal situation there, but I can understand, and I could possibly see myself in a position where I would forgive someone that potentially tried to kill me. Like if the circumstance was that they were genuinely remorseful and maybe they weren't in the right mind space, or I could see myself forgiving that person, like in that circumstance. But this right here is like when there is, and I'm not trying to trivialize or justify what happened to you or anything, but when you've got like a total, actually I don't, I mean there was rumors that they were together or something, I'm not too sure, but when it's like a foreign external attack upon you, like I don't know, I feel a different way about that. Like it, if someone tried to, if there was no background to the attack, it was just pure evil. It was just, oh, I just wanted to see if this gun works, and you was just there, or just something sadistic like that. I don't know, man. That's what I struggle. That's where I struggle with the forgiveness thing. But at the same time, I just want to make it clear that I'm not trying to, trivialize and say, oh, well, that, the situation that happened to you is different and it's all cool and it's all good or anything like that. I'm just kind of giving the balance between different circumstances, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. Bureau of Black said the Texas court suggests that a dangerous precedent that all Black life is cheap. And I agree with that. I think that's probably one of my biggest problems is that
America
has done more time for less. People have definitely done more time for less.
Yeah.
You can say that again.
And he'll be out in like 5 years for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they already have the brothers, that the killer of the brother, the man who got killed, his brother saying he don't believe she should go to jail. So why wouldn't they let her out? I mean, that's pretty. I mean, they're going to use that.
You know what's going to be a real slap in the face?
Is
when
that
her lawyers file an appeal.
when what?
That's going to be a real slap in the face. When her lawyers file an appeal, that's going to be a slap in the face. That's like essentially saying, I don't want to, I don't want to be punished at all, because that's literally what I'm sure she feels.
Yeah, I'm actually expecting that to happen. And I'm kind of surprised if it doesn't happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I'm pessimistic about this whole thing, but history informs me that I kind of expect it to happen. And in actual fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if the whole thing got overturned.
They're planning something.
Yeah, I kind of did think the whole thing was staged, though. I that definitely occurred to me. That was the rant I started to go on earlier. I lightweight was like, is this staged? Like,
Yeah.
is this on purpose? Because this can't be real life. I honestly thought like that was staged. That thought crossed my mind legitimately.
I don't think the murder was staged. The court, I mean, the clown court was staged.
Yeah, that part. Yes, that part I thought was staged.
That was clown court. That wasn't real court.
That was unreal. That was almost something out of a really bad book.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought she was gonna get 20 to 25. For real. Just did.
That's what she should have got.
I didn't think she was gonna get convicted at all.
Oh, did you guys hear about the Somalian guy who shot the white woman from Australia? I think she was a visitor. Right? He got convicted.
What did he get?
The Somalian guy from I think he's from Minneapolis. He shot he's a police officer, right? And he shot an Australian tourist. He said he feared for his life. I think she jumped out of nowhere. He shot her. This was in 2017. He just recently got convicted. I don't know how many years. 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
That's pretty close to 10. Just saying.
Did the woman die?
Yeah, she died. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, the moment I heard that story, I was like, yeah.
But I bet he don't get out in 7.5.
Yeah, it depends, isn't it? Good behavior and that kind of thing.
I bet he don't get out in parole in half the time. He's probably going to do all that 15.
Bureau of Black asked, how long did it take me to forgive him? Immediately or years? I forgave him pretty immediately. I can't lie. Like pretty immediately. Like, but like, I don't think I didn't have time to process being upset with him because I was stabbed in the neck. I escaped. I was driving down the highway with a hole in my neck that was bleeding. Found some police officers. Next thing you know, I'm in the hospital. Next thing you know, the police are coming in asking me what I did to cause this. Next thing you know, the doctor's coming in and saying, I'm going to try to make it so you don't see it. And I wake up 7 hours later. And by the time I got home, he was calling my home, trying to talk to me. And so my instinct at first was for my safety, like somebody take him to jail because he's clearly unstable. And then after he was in jail, I pretty much immediately forgave him. Like I wasn't angry with him. I did forgive him pretty immediately. But I have to say, for me, I'm a very forgiving person, like in general. It's really
right.
Obviously, because he tried to kill me, it's very difficult for me to reach a place with a person where I'm not willing to forgive them. That's really my go-to function. You know, that's like my superpower and my Achilles heel.
You divorced.
That's why I keep telling you I commend you for it. I think we're kind of at the opposite ends of the spectrum. You're very forgiving. I'm not so forgiving.
Yeah, but the thing is that I would want somebody to forgive me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't always make the right decisions. Who knows what I may or may not do, but I would want somebody to give me that same leeway. People do awful things. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not beyond any of us to do awful things too. So I would want to be forgiven too. I wouldn't. I would want that for myself. You know.
You know what, Irene? If I gave you some directions to go somewhere, and I said take a right, and you took a left, I'll forgive you. Don't worry. You know what I mean? I'm not. You know, I'm not all the way like that. It's more so for extreme circumstances. I mean, what you just talked about was some action movie type stuff. You're holding your neck with one hand, steering wheel in the other, you know, somehow opening the door. I mean, yo, if someone's got to pay, and I mean, I know, you know, the
I mean,
guy
I was
did, but
angry that he didn't get more time. I thought that was pretty BS. But honestly, I just wanted to move on with my life. Do you know what I'm saying? I just wanted
for
to
sure.
move on with my life, and I needed to move past that stage. And then, you know, the next thing was just getting comfortable with having like a giant scar on my neck, which most people say they don't notice unless I point it out to them, or unless you're around me, like in person. I will have people ask me what it is. But I mean, I think, you know, I think that, I don't know, I would want that for myself. If I just totally screwed something up, I would want people to forgive me. I mean, honestly, I think we will all want that. And there's a lot of things people probably don't tell about themselves because they know that most people aren't going to overlook that or be forgiving of that. They're going to be judged because of that. And so it would just be nice to not be in a space or to be around people or to be a kind of person where somebody didn't have to feel like there were whole sections of themselves that had to be walled off because it's not going to be forgiven and not going to be accepted. And I think a lot of people have those things about them. I'm not going to tell anybody about this because that's not going to be accepted. That's not going to be forgiven. That's going to change how people view me, how people treat me, stuff like that. But I'm not that person. So for those people that share a life with me, like in the real world, I'm a safe person. Like, I love and care for you. I will accept you as a whole person, right? Because I want to be accepted as a whole person. I want to be able to make a mistake, be forgiven, be allowed to grow and move past that, and still be loved and still be respected, and not have that always being brought up, or constantly having that be the barometer of the person I am. And I think everybody on some level wants that. Brother Sunken Place would probably go ask her parole board to let her out. Probably, why not? He probably will do that, though. I'm mad you called him Brother Sunken Place, though. But yeah, he probably will go speak for her at the parole board. She's going to be out in 5 years.
Then we find out that them two are together or something. Let me stop.
Oh gosh, if he did that, okay, well then we might level of justice that needs to happen.
He's
okay,
probably gonna. I know he's gonna visit her.
No,
he's gonna have visitation rights.
Did you read that Bible we gave you? Oh no, he better not.
If he do, he needs to let me point out scriptures for her to read. She'd be really good.
At least give her the right scriptures. You gotta be.
I got something she could read.
The proper scripture list. Oh my gosh! I hope he doesn't, but I would not be surprised. He seems like the one to do it.
And it's not John 3:16 either.
It's Acts 2:38.
Yeah, that's one of them.
I can't.
It's interesting what you said though, Irene. Learning. It's like I never really thought about things like that. Like wanting, I would expect to be forgived as well. I've never really thought about things like that, you know. And I think possibly, and this isn't an indirect or anything, but possibly the reason why I've never really kind of thought about something like that is because I know I'm not evil. Like I just not. It's not within me to just do something sadistic and evil to a random person or to anyone. Like if you've done something to me, I'm not just gonna chop off your head. You know, I just don't see myself being in a position where I would do something so heinous that, you know, the question of forgiveness to that degree would kind of come up. I mean, yeah, you know, on dates and daily things, overcooked some food or something like that, or, you know, or crashed the car, you know. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's interesting what you said there.
The Somali, why not set the Somali cop's story is different. He was on duty, called to a disturbance. The Australian lady rushed toward his partner, and he shot her to save his partner from a perceived threat. That is different. That's true.
Yeah.
That's different.
Bob Jean got killed in his house eating ice cream. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And she changed her story. First, she used her key to get in the door. Then when it was proven that was impossible, then the door was ajar. You know, there's like a lot. He was, you know, flipping, eating ice cream, which means she had to enter the home. And at some point you had to recognize that was not your home. She murdered him on purpose. I really think. I don't think it was an accident. I think he.
I mean, she made a statement that she wears black because I'll let you know that your funeral is coming. I'm ready for your funeral. So you already knew how she was thinking.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Did they have a relationship? Was there a relations between them?
People? That was a rumor.
But here's the thing. She had an opportunity to like fully move out of her home. They did not even search her home for evidence. So we don't know what we could have known because they didn't even look in her home for any evidence.
I think the brother would date her, so I don't know.
The brother is look, I'm going to stand by. I'm okay with him forgiving her, but he lost me when he was like, he didn't think she could have to go to jail. Then I was like side-eyeing him, like, really? You didn't think she had to go to jail?
I mean, that hug,
you wander in the streets free?
That hug was personal.
Oh, he gave her a bear hug.
Yeah, that
he embraced her. Yeah,
embraced again. So I don't know. It looked kind of. I don't know. I don't want to make a joke out of it, but I don't know. Something's not right about that.
Sam McD said he complained about her music. Yeah, he did. She did more to complain. She put in like formal complaints. And if I'm correct, okay, so Diller Pat said, why didn't they charge her with manslaughter if it was an accident? Okay, I was over on ABLs, and a lot of people felt it should have been manslaughter. I believe even Anthony thinks that it should be manslaughter. But here's the thing with murder. Murder requires malicious intent, but malicious intent doesn't mean that you premeditated to hurt somebody. Malicious intent simply means that there was no justification for you killing that person. And that's why she was able to be charged with murder, because there was no justification for what she did. So I think so I think that's why she didn't get manslaughter. Manslaughter is like something a little bit, manslaughter is almost like you accidentally kill somebody. You know what I mean?
Manslaughter is like someone's got their hands around your throat and then you pick up a knife and stab them in the head and they die. Like that's manslaughter.
Self-defense, yeah, stuff like that. Like it's an accident, it's self-defense, blah blah blah. Like that is manslaughter.
The 10-year sentence is more along the line of manslaughter.
Well, it's a 5-year sentence. Let's be real.
Right, exactly.
It's 10 in name, 5 in actuality.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like manslaughter. It was 5 to 10. So, and then they have a law 5 to 99. That to me, that's saying it depends on who you are, what type of person you are, what's your racial background. You can get 5 to 99. So I think we know what that 5 to 10 is for, and the 15 to 99 is for. We know who that's for.
Hey, baby. Okay, I'm gonna bake, y'all. I have to bake bread and cookies, and you guys know I'm leaving for vacation. Well, it's not vacation. I'm leaving to crash a 21-year-old's birthday. No, you're not 21. You're only 4. Birthday tomorrow. But yeah, I just wanted to do this with you guys. I'm glad that we did it. This was nice and relaxing. That didn't go as bad as I thought it was going to go. But I have to say, y'all get too deep for a chill session. We're talking about murder trials,
right.
having miniature-sized Bible battles. Y'all play too much. You guys don't know how to be chill. We're going to do better next time. We're going to do better. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here.
All right.
Your babies sound beautiful in the background. Your little ones.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep them quiet. They cannot ever be quiet.
No, I mean, children can't be quiet. And I don't mind. I like hearing children. Some people don't like the sound of children. I like the sound of children that are loud and having fun, because that tells me that's a happy child. I don't trust, like, some children are very quiet and like play alone, but normally a subdued child is suffering through something. Do you know what I mean? So I would rather hear some happy children in the background living their best life, because who is it going to bother? Like, who cares what people on YouTube feel? All that matters is that they're enjoying their life. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, you know, if other people don't like to hear that. So I liked hearing their little voices.
Well,
I can't. I think my mic on my computer, because I don't have my mic set up, doesn't pick up my little ones' voices, but I can hear them too. But I like hearing that. Also, because when my children are quiet, I think they're doing something. I have to go check on them. Because,
well, I can see the whole house from where I'm sitting at. So.
oh, see, I can't, because it's 3 floors. So I have to be listening because I can't see everything. I need to get some cameras though, like for the downstairs hallway and stuff. But see, the thing is, I don't want to be too intrusive either, but I can't actually see everything that's going on. And right now they're on the bottom floor and I'm on the 2nd floor. So anyway, I will talk to y'all later.
Okay.
Oh, Dillard Pat says it sounds real, human real. Exactly. Like that is what it should sound like. I mean, our children are a part of our lives. I don't know why people get so weird about it. But I love babies, so I have a whole bunch of babies. So maybe that's why. Maybe I'm
a father, so I don't have a choice.
All right.
I want to say thanks for, you know, having me, Irene. It's the first time I actually tuned into your live stream. And everything. Thanks for having me on the panel. It's been a good discussion. Thanks to yourself.
No, not at all. Thank both of you for coming up. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I always hear you on Nyla show. I never got a chance to actually talk to you face to face.
Oh, I'm glad that we had a chance to talk then. You are always welcome. Okay, bye y'all. Peace the chat. Bye, Great Black. I saw you in there. Bye, The Things You Forgot. You're hella late. And Pintos, I hope that he is feeling better. I didn't see you saying that in the chat yesterday, so I'm sorry I missed that. But yeah, with that. Good night, y'all.
Peace.